process, it'll have a bad odor and things are going on, but it's just an indicator. This idea of juice fasting actually goes back to ancient Egypt. In fact, they used to, when they would do juice fast or the blood of food offerings, the first year they would go 40 days on just the color red, like tomato juice or watermelon juice or beetroot juice or a mix of those things. And so the next year they would do orange, and they would work right through the rainbow colors: red, orange, yellow, green, blue, indigo, and violet. And each of the years of the juice fasting, they would wear clothes that were the color that they were on. And so by the time you had done all 7 fasts, which represented all 7 physiological systems, today what in the East they call the 7 chakras, if you will, which matched the 7 doors of the heavens, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. It was all tied together in the 7 days, or lords of time, the 7 days of the week, the 7 notes of music. Joseph's robe of many colors actually was a description that Joseph had done the 7 colors of the rainbow in his living temple work. And a lot of this isn't talked about much, but
so you
that's what and that was brilliant, and that's how we heal ourselves and keep ourselves up.
Yeah, you talk about a particular juice for cancer to detox or fast on to. Why that particular juice?
It was a brilliant wisdom of the past, and I think it's kind of funny how that particular juice worked out in its name. It was actually called the Kabbalah, spelt with the C-A-B-A-L-A. And it stands for carrots, about a kilo of carrots, and a red apple, a yellow apple, and a green apple is the A's. The B is for beetroot. If you take a beet about the size of the fist and cut it into thirds, you'd use about 1/3 in that. And then 1 whole lemon with rind and all. You just wash it and you put it all together, and so this Kabbalah juice, or the Kabbalah juice, is something that breaks up the plaque that has caused the cells to have to overproduce themselves to do their job. And it sweeps that from that and allows the body to shrink the tumor, and all of a sudden you don't have cancer. We have Nikki Reynolds that was dying of breast cancer. Her mother died of breast cancer at age 41. And I have to kind of throw in a little disclaimer to that. People today, I believe, do not die of cancer. They die of the treatments of cancer. She was sent home to die. A mother of 3 little girls, all under the age of 8 years old. It had gone from her breast into the liver and pancreas, up the spine and into the brain. They sent her home. She was sitting up in a chair with a bed sheet wrapped around her and tied off to hold her there. And she hadn't laid down and had a night's sleep in weeks and weeks, even though she was on morphine and all the other stuff. So I went through and I explained what I felt she could do if she wanted to take care of herself at this point and just kind of lay the weapons of war, all the medications down. They've already told you there's nothing else they can do, so what do you have to lose? And she agreed, and she said that she would. And at the end of our discussion, she said, you know, Mr. Tolman, if I can just lay down and have 1 night's good sleep before I pass on, I will feel like you've blessed my life. And that was kind of hard to hear, but I left. 6 days later, I get a phone call, and she had slept 12 hours laying down. Very excited. Next night, 12 hours laying down. Next night, 12 hours laying down. 2 weeks later, she's out walking. She only was able to go out to the front yard and down the street a ways. 3 weeks later, she was actually jogging. This is a lady
that had 3 days to live.
3 days to live. 3 weeks later, she's actually jogging down the street, 2 or 3 blocks, and jogging back. She's laying in the sun. She's drinking water. She's doing this juice. And long story short, that was 14 months ago. And her kids that she'd pulled out of school to be with her the last 3 weeks of her life are back in school. She goes on walks with them every single day. The clinics show she has absolutely no sign of cancer in her brain, liver, pancreas, breast. And she did that herself in self-care, and I think that that is the coming revolution.
And I don't know about in America, but certainly here in Australia there's been a few doctors that over the times have spoken up and said, look, we want to use that type of self-care, looking at the diet, and of course they are told, no, you can't do that, it's irresponsible. It's not been proven.
one of the worst things that happened to us is state licensing of doctors, because they are controlled by their own license by the state. But you're seeing more and more in the U.S., and I don't know how it is down here, but a lot of these doctors are walking away from their own state licensed careers and picking up and going with self-care and principles of the healing arts in teaching their people
It's fantastic.
how to do it themselves and supporting them in that. It's coming. There is a revolution. Yeah.
So how has all this changed your diet? Obviously we know you fast and you detox, and we presume you eat plenty of avocados
I do.
walnuts.
Lots of whole foods. And even though there are foods that are designed specifically for women's anatomical structures, the ancients taught that each one of us individually is both male and female, that we have masculine and feminine qualities within ourselves. And so an avocado is good for the male as well, and I didn't want to mislead any of that. But for myself,
So I've got to ask them, what's the banana good for?
the male organ, and the same with peanuts and other nuts. Figs grow and hang in twos and are full of seeds. Men that are not fertile have actually been able to increase their fertility by eating figs. It's fascinating. Increases the motility of the sperm and the incidence or numbers of the sperm. But yeah, cucumbers and zucchini and bananas.
So they really do
good
follow the
stuff.
doctor of signatures.
Good stuff.
Yeah.
In fact, along those lines, we had a young boy, 3 years old, whose penis was not developing, and it really concerned the parents, and very concerned. And so we got him on a diet of bananas, and by the time that little kid was 7, I mean, he's going to be a monster.
Right.
So that's really fun. But myself, just through the years, I realized the wisdom of a plant-based diet. So I am a vegetarian. But I've also worked with children that have had some horrendous physiological and mental challenges. And that's where raw milk from goats and cows come in.
Geez, we're not allowed to have that here. They say it's unfit for human consumption.
Can't get in the United States either. So raw milks, and again, that's control from the pharmaceutical industry, who wants to lace that milk with very addictive kinds of chemicals, and if they go in and do your homework on it, it's a pretty tough situation.
Well, an analogy I give to patients of mine is, imagine 2 fresh carrot juices just being made, and you take one away and you boil it, you put it in the vitamizer and you bring it back. Is it the same? Of course they say no. In fact, I would say that the fact that that milk has been boiled, which is another word for pasteurisation, is that it's become carrot soup. Has it not?
Yeah.
So what we've got, if we do that with cow's milk or breast milk, it becomes breast soup. And they've gone, wow, I've never looked at it that way. And of course we know that once that was given to baby calves, they all got signs of cardiovascular disease.
Yeah, absolutely.
So
there's no life force in it that the cells recognize. And then you start throwing a matrix of laced chemicals into it as well. You can call it vitamin D all you want. Chemical vitamin D is causing some real problems. And you look at the matrices of the chemicals that they actually create from a carbon chain construct of motor oil in order for their synthetic vitamins and mineralization, and they're causing some problems. You know.
There has been a backlog of certain drugs that are left over from certain periods in time that they're using, and you know, recycling them and turning them into something else. So.
Yeah, it's true. And so if you can have access to raw milks or aged cheeses, live cultured yogurts, things like that, I think it's a brilliant wisdom.
Do you think though, with when you say that if they're raw, I know I was raised on a dairy farm, is it still okay for people to drink milk after being weaned?
I believe so. A lot of vegetarians get all upset about people drinking milk because they say, gosh, you know, once an animal's weaned, it'll never drink milk again. We're the only creatures that do that. And I think the reason that we can do that is we have opposable thumbs, and we can go up and extract the milk. And so if you, and you can prove it to yourself, if you take a pan of fresh milk and set it in front of a dog, a full-grown adult dog, it'll drink it. Same with a full-grown adult cat. Same thing with a full-grown adult cow or horse or pig. They scramble to it. They know what that is. And they're all adults. It's just that as an adult cow or a dog or a pig, you don't have access to it unless a human being comes along and gives you that access. And I've just seen too many wonderful qualities of raw whole milks and what it's done For people that are 70 years old and older and in a real bad situation, it can pull them right back.